Welcome to Jesse's Drone Adventures, everybody. We have a lot of exploring that we're going to be doing out in the desert here today, and we're going to start with these buttes right behind me. Supposedly, at the top of one of these many buttes out here, there are Native American ruins. And to speed things up a little today, because it's a little hot out and we can't exactly be hiking, we're going to send the drone up there and see if we can find them. The mission here was simple. Search each butte in the area until we find the ruins. At first I spotted an earthen dam, which was the last thing on Earth I'd expect to see way out here. Well, okay, maybe not the last thing, but pretty darn close. At this point it would be a miracle if we got enough monsoon rains to fill up the reservoir. I had a feeling this might be a little bit of a lengthy process. I knew the ruins were out here somewhere based on the map I saw, but I didn't want to spoil the fun and pop in the coordinates. It's kind of like when you're going to Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot looking for something, and the worker asks you if you need any help, and although you do, you don't want to have them tell you where something is, because it takes all the fun out of finding it on your own. This is exactly that, but if push came to shove, I could always pull up my phone. Butte after butte, nothing was turning up. As tempting as it was to grab my phone and pinpoint them, I did restrain myself. I didn't know how old the post was and what condition they were in, let alone if they were still there. But I told myself I would give it another few minutes before I punched in the coordinates. After returning to home, swapping out a battery, taking a swig of coffee, and getting my drone right back out there, this is what I saw next. There was very limited archaeological information on this site, but I'm pretty confident that this is the work of the ancient civilization known as the Hohokam. They were known for their sophisticated irrigation practices all across what is now Phoenix, Arizona, and there are countless other sites just like this one on the outskirts of the valley. Some are very easy to spot and hike to, while others are very well hidden within nature. This is probably one of the bigger ones that I've investigated with my drone. I took a rough measurement on Google Earth and it measured 170 feet at its longest and about 130 feet at its shortest. This is another site that I'm putting on my bucket list to hike out to in the mid-fall when the temperatures start to come down. I can't wait. One thing I find super fascinating about Native American sites like that is generally if you find one, there's probably more in the area, and in another part of Arizona. I'm not going to say the exact location, but there are dozens of those grouped together within, I don't know, like a 10-mile radius, roughly. And the thing about that is, archaeologists believe that they were built high up on buttes like that, either for ceremonial or religious purposes, but also they were defense ruins, and they could have also been used to communicate with other, members of their tribe from long distances away using smoke signals. Now, why they built those defense ruins, that's really kind of a mystery. After checking out the ruins, it was time to head over to another location that I've been wanting to take a closer look at with my drone. It's something that, as often as I drive by it, I often forget that it's there and pay no attention to it. But I figured with the list of things on my mind to do and see, I figured what better day to finally check this one off the list. This butte right here has always caught my interest whenever I'm driving out to Superior, Arizona. And a while back I was flying my drone up there, and it looks like there was a little alcove on this side of the mound. It could have also been a shadow, but I've never had the opportunity to really check it out until now. And after all that flying around, it turns out there was nothing here. No alcove. Sometimes the shadows can play tricks on the land and make it look like there's something there when there isn't. I still took the time to scan the rest of the butte to see if there was anything up there. Native Americans would often use smoke signals to communicate to other sites many miles away, in the event of any danger approaching or for rituals. We may not have found anything here, but the search goes on. Now we're going to take a peek at that location I was telling you about just a few minutes ago, the one I always pass but never took the time to explore. According to DiscoverGilaCounty.com, Globe, Arizona is known as one of the oldest mining towns in all of Arizona and the Southwest. The Dominion Mine operated from 1880 to 1931, and throughout its ride, it had its fair share of ups and downs. Without a doubt, the Dominion mine played a significant role in the economic and industrial development of Globe and Miami. The Dominion Copper Company was created in 1880 and saw great success over the next decade, but the events that followed in the 1890s had other plans. Just as the operations for the company seemed to be going well, a flood hit the town in 1891, destroying many homes and businesses. And just when everything seemed like it was getting better, people were recovering, businesses were being rebuilt, boom, Pinal Creek flooded in 1893, causing as much damage as the initial flood and pretty much undoing all the recovery and rebuilding efforts. Now, it can't possibly get any worse from here, right? Well, actually, it can, and it does. The financial panic of 1893 caused immense struggles for the mines and the town, leaving Dominion no choice but to shut down its operations until the price of copper would rise again. Now, in the following years, the mine had undergone many repairs and improvements. By the early 1900s, the company had some of the best and newest mining facilities in the entire United States. 6 new smelters were built, and Dominion was increasing its production totals and profits. And in fact, there were multiple periods throughout the early 1900s where trains were hauling up to 2 million pounds of copper per month. In the years to come, the town of Globe would face many more challenges, such as more floods, who would have guessed, fires, underground accidents, and in 1917, a strike occurred that resulted in many pissed-off miners, business owners, and residents of the town. Things even got so out of hand that federal troops were called in to restore order. But fortunately, in 1919, a settlement was negotiated and things started to calm down. In the following years, many repairs had gone neglected, and water damage and decreasing copper values started to slowly decline in profits. Employment was greatly reduced, and Dominion couldn't pay back a loan they had taken out from Phelps Dodge. Financial hardship overtook the company, which would eventually lead to Dominion Mining Company shutting down for good. Now, if there's one thing I took away from the story, it's resilience. Being knocked down time and time again, but to have the grit to keep on going despite a series of repeated horrific events, my hat's off to them. They were built different back then. Just as I was getting ready to bring my drone down and do some exploring on foot, I saw this in the distance. And I'll be completely honest, I have no idea what the heck it is, but it kinda looks like that thing that Rita Repulsa crawled out of in the opening of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers intro.
After 10,000 years, I'm free!
On a side note, let's hope that's not a sign of things to come. Moving on. The cool part about the Dominion mine is it actually doubles as a park. Now obviously you can't get into the old mining equipment and check it out and explore it because it's too dangerous, but a long time ago, I'm not sure how long ago, the city of Globe actually petitioned for it to be redeveloped into like a park/heritage site to preserve the mining history and kind of promote health and fitness in the area. So we're gonna walk around and check out some of the old stuff up here. I do believe I saw on the internet and what I saw on my drone, there's like a old mining equipment graveyard where there's a bunch of mining equipment up there and interpretive signs. Let's go. For being 102 degrees out, it's actually probably one of the more decent hot days out here. There's a little bit of a breeze, we got some clouds going on, the beautiful mountains in the back. And the cool thing about this park is it is open to everybody. It is open to the public, except it is not open to disrespectful jerks that like to come out here and vandalize and destroy stuff. So if that's you, you're not allowed out here. Got the park rules here. And a little bit of history on the old Dominion mine. I'll take a screenshot of this and put it up on the screen so that way if you guys want to pause the video and read it, feel free to go ahead. Oh boy, look at that. Rattlesnakes may be found in this area. Give them distance and respect. Absolutely. Water fountain. Bathrooms. Always good to know. It's all about the railroad. I just love all the little fun facts that you can learn along the way. This is so cool. Looks like we got a little wooden ore car used for hauling dynamite. I do believe the boneyard is over this way. We're gonna keep our eyes peeled because I don't want to run into a rattlesnake. At the same time, that would be kind of cool to feature on the channel. Got some old equipment right over here. Kudos to the city of Globe and its residents for doing this. It's kind of cool how they can preserve the mine's legacy. Ah, there it is. We found the boneyard, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait to learn all about this stuff here. The fact that they held on to so much of this stuff and just didn't toss it or recycle it or do away with it is actually quite impressive. Future generations can come here and learn a little bit about their town, or if you're a tourist, stop in and learn a little bit about the mining history. This is what I really came here to check out. I saw this on my drone, and I had to come see it. Gasoline-powered Chicago pneumatic air compressor. Wow. Chicago pneumatic. It definitely feels like you're taking a step back in time when you're walking through this boneyard, looking at all this old equipment that probably hasn't been used in almost 100 years. I have been here now for roughly a half hour, and I've been seeing all these signs that say, "Watch out for rattlesnakes, watch out for rattlesnakes," and I have yet to see a friggin' rattlesnake. Talk about false advertising. This is one aspect that I really love about the town of Globe, Arizona. All the houses up on the hills here. Way over there, and way up yonder. Kind of reminds me of like Los Angeles, San Francisco, but, you know, without being in the great state of California. That comment I made about California may have come off a bit strong. I just want everybody to know that I love California. Now don't go anywhere just yet because the video is far from over, and in fact, I have one more surprise for you guys. We're going out to a location that I probably haven't been out to since 2022. I did a small video on it in the past, but if I'm gonna be honest, it was a pretty mediocre video. So we're gonna go back there today, see what things are looking like, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. Now before we head back on the road, two things I forgot to mention. Parents, this does have a playground for your kids, so if you're stopping through here on your way back to Phoenix, or wherever it is the heck you're going, this will give your kids a chance to stretch their legs and burn off some of that sugar from those sundaes you bought them at Dairy Queen. That way they aren't fighting over who gets to use the iPad to watch Miss Rachel on the way back home. And most importantly, number two, if you have any ties to the mine or had grandparents or great-grandparents that worked there back in the day and they were fortunate enough to share stories with you about the mine, feel free to share those stories with us down in the comments. I would love to read them, and I'm sure everyone else would too. This is the first look at the resort here. Look at all that work
Oh, all that detail and all that thunder. Unfortunately, this also attracts a lot of dumpers. We'll just come out here and throw trash. You can see there's still a little bit of a staircase left. Not much. Little bar area right here. It's kind of cool. Make sure there's no one sleeping behind there. This is where you'd come up and go, I'll take a Coors Light. If I had to guess, this was probably the dining area. Maybe they had a little dance floor. From what I remember reading online, this place wasn't open that long, and I couldn't find any old photos of when it was open. But maybe when I get back home and start doing some more research, see if I can find anything. It's just so sad. Somebody went through all the work to do this, and it's just rotting away. And I swear every time I come out here, the condition gets worse, worse, and worse.
The building that I'm currently in is one of about 7 buildings that are still standing out here. Well, barely. And it really is a sad story, seeing all the potential of what this place could have been and what it could have done for tourism in the area. In a different universe, you could be driving down the highway and seeing a bustling resort up in the high desert. A place where families could spend a couple weeks out of their summer, a place where guys could go get away from their wives, have a couple beers, and do some fishing, or at the bare minimum, it could have offered a comfy stay for those weary travelers heading both in and out of Arizona. But in this universe, the sad reality is, that didn't happen. But that begs the question, why? Well, the story goes like this. This is called Seneca Lake Trading Post and Resort. It's located on the San Carlos Apache Reservation, located about 2 hours northeast of Phoenix. It was built in the early 1970s, and boy did they have some major plans for it. It opened in June of 1971 and was called Cinema Park. It cost about $524,000 to build, and they had future plans of building an 80-unit motel, a golf course, and riding stables. Throughout the area, you can still find picnic tables, bathrooms, canopies, and other remnants from when it was open. There is a lake there as well, which you can fish at or take your boat on, but you will need a permit because it is on a reservation. Now, not too far away from the lake, there is a gorgeous viewing point of the Salt River Canyon. All this being said, though, it sounds like the perfect summer getaway, right? So, what happened? According to AZ Central, in the late 1970s, the tribe defaulted on the loan and the dream quickly died. Lenders took back the restaurant along with many other items. Ever since then, it's just been decaying in the desert, succumbing to the elements and heavy vandalism. I did have my alien assistant go on Google and see if he could find a reason why the tribe defaulted on the loan, and after spending many hard hours looking on the internet, it turned up nothing. I did find some theories as to why, but I don't want to put those out there. If you know or you have any insight as to why they might have defaulted on the loan, feel free to share with us down in the comments. Other than the main building that I'm currently in, there are a few other dilapidated cabins which look like they could crumble after a good storm, and to be honest, I'm surprised that they're still standing. Near the highway, you'll also find a gas station which is in the same condition as the cabins. If anybody watching has ever had the opportunity to visit this resort when it was open, or you know somebody who did, feel free to share a memory with us down in the comments section. And if you want to see more desert exploration videos just like this one, click the playlist in the upper left-hand corner, because if you don't, your property taxes will go up.